Good morning, students. Hope so. All of you are very good. And from today onwards, I will teach you new subject. The name of the subject is web technologies. I saw so many students are facing problem in searching out videos regarding uh, web technologies. In this series, where we will discuss each and everything theoretically as well as practically. And first of all, we are going to discuss about web browsers and what are the functions of the web browsers. Then we will move to the next topic, that is HTML. Then we will learn new version of HTML, that is HTML5. Then we will learn uh, CSS, Bootstrap 4, JavaScript. So many web browser languages we will learn in this series. So let us start without any further delay. So this subject is very related to the students who are doing their MCA and also in b.tech computer science. Yeah, our first our first topic is, first topic is, what is a web browser? In simple words, a web browser is an application through which we can access website on the World Wide Web. So web browser is basically an application through which we can access any website on the www, that is World Wide Web. It provides users a medium through which they can interact with the web server, right? If I'm going to search anything on the Google, suppose I'm going to search anything on the Google by using www. In that case, uh, the content which I am going to search will be rendered by the web server. So it acts as a medium. Web browser is acts as a medium in between the web client as well as web server, as it fetches the data and displays it as a web page, right? So web browser acts as a medium uh, through which you can interact directly with the internet and you can access any website. We always use Chrome for browsing websites in our daily lives. As we can see that while we are going to use mobile phones, whether we are going to use uh, internet in laptop and PCs, so we basically use web browser. So the most commonly used web browser is the Chrome, which is very popular, one of the most popularly used web browser. In today's time, there are various different web browsers available in the market. Each web browser has some unique characteristics and distinguished depending upon the features like speed, security, and extension. So, on the basis of the different requirements, we can use any kind of web browser, but generally we prefer to use Google Chrome in our daily life. Right now, Google Chrome is the most used web browser in the world. However, there are most commonly used browsers can be Mozilla Firefox, Opera, and Microsoft Edge, and etc. Now move to the next topic. What are the functions of the what are the functions of a web browser? As we have discussed that web browser is basically acting as a medium in between the web client as well as the web server. Uh, a web browser is a medium through which you can basically access different websites. So it acts as a medium through which we can access website on the www. The main function of the web browser is to provide an interface to the user for sending requests and fetching data or information from the web server. Yeah. See here that the main function of the web browser is to provide an interface between the user. Here user is sending the request and By sending request, it he or she can fetch data or information from the web server. So it display the information to the user, including multimedia, which means that if you're going to open any website, you can see there so many images, so many videos, text, anything can be present there. So in today's scenario, you can see that in case of website, so many things are included, including multimedia. Multimedia means that can include multimedia elements like images and videos, and audio clips are there in the form of web pages using CSS and JavaScript. These are the languages. We will discuss it about we will discuss each and everything about these languages later. CSS is basically the definition of the CSS is the cascading style sheets, and um, JavaScript is also a programming language, and front end developer also use this language. So uh, see here the basic difference between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is basically a hypertext markup language. HTML is basically used to create static web pages. Static web pages means that you have to just put elements on the web page, right? But in order to cascading style sheet is used in order to give some color, in order to make it decorative, we use CSS. But JavaScript is used to make all the elements live, right? Suppose by using HTML we can create only and only button on the web page, but if we want, by clicking on that button, some output have to be come. By clicking on particular button, by pressing that button, some output has to become, it will be obtained by using JavaScript. So this is the basic difference between HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Now come to the next point. A web browser acts as a platform to access various websites. So we can say here that it is basically acting as a platform through which we can access so many websites. Users can visit different websites by just entering the URL. URL basically means that uniform resource locator. Uniform resource locator of the website on the web browser. Uh, in order to get any website on the web browser, we have to know the URL of that website. URL is nothing else, it is basically the address of any website. Let us take one simple example. Suppose there is a person A, there is a person A who wants to go to the home of B. So A can only and only reach to the home of B if he knows the address of the B's home, right? So in the same case, a user can access only and only website, search out any and only website on the uh, um, web browser if he knows the URL of that website. So URL is the uniform resource locator address. Browsers also have navigation features like a navigation bar, tabs, and other tools which make surfing the net easier. So when we are going to create any website, we can see here that on the top there is a navigation bar, and in the navigation bar there are tabs, and there are so many search options, other tools which makes surfing the net easier. So by clicking on that tabs, we can also move to the next website, right? So one can also open multiple web pages at the same time. So this is the main feature, that by using web browser we can open multiple websites at the same time and navigate among them, and forward in the forward as well as in the backward direction. Hope so all these things have been clear to you. Now moving to the next slide. Yeah, there are some more features of the web browsers. Another function of the web browser is to ensure security and provide access to the websites. So this is the basic. And very important feature of the web browser, it provides you security as well as multiple access to the websites. This is accomplished by pop-up warnings. As you can see that while you are going to open any website on the www by using any kind of web browser, a pop-up has come sometimes, uh, and alert you that some virus has entered in your computer, anything else can be written there. So security can be accomplished by using pop-up warnings, scanning for malicious software, and other safety measures. The functionality of browsers can also be improved by adding extensions or plugins to the browser. Most commonly installed extensions include adblock, calendar, and other constructive tools, which ensures the security of the browser. Data accessed by a user frequently is stored by the web browser in the form of cache. This saves the loss of data and time while accessing the data again and again. Cache memory is basically used to store the data for a longer time. So in that case, if data has been lost, so there is no need to worry about the data because the data is already in the saved in the cache, right? Now move to the next slide. So we have seen what are the functions of the web browser. First function is the accessing websites. So you by using web browser, you can easily access any website, and a user can access multiple websites at the same time. Second one is the maintaining history. Yeah, this is very important. As you can see, if you are searching a website on the regular basis or or on alternate basis, you can see the history of that website is stored in the cookies and uh, on the history of the web browser, and all the data has been stored on in the history of the web browser. Third one is the security. It provides security at large amount because uh, there are so many security tools as we have discussed, like pop-up menu and pop-up warnings are there. They will warn the user regarding any malicious activities has to be done to the computer. Another one is the loading web page. Yeah, this is the main function of the web browser, loading web page. Because if uh, if the web browser is not able to load any web page, how can you see the content? Sometimes you can see that when you are going to search any website on the www. uh, so in that case, websites work very slowly, and loading process takes too much time. So in order to avoid all these things, we basically use Google Chrome because it is much faster than other uh, web browsers. Now, another is the navigation. By using navigation tools, we can move from one page to another page easily. We can move uh, by using navigation bar, um, on which so many tools are available. By clicking on that tool, we can navigate in forward as well as in the backward direction. So these are the basic functions of the web browsers which we have discussed uh, in detail. Now move to the next. Yeah. What are the features of a web browser? What are the features of a web browser? A web browser consists of several features which provides a user-friendly environment in a web browser. You can see here that a web browser basically provides a user-friendly environment to the user. Some of the features are given below. First one is the home page. Yeah, homepage is the first page of any website. Because by using that page, you can navigate to the other web pages of that website, because any website is consisting of basically so many web pages, but the first page of every website will be a home page. So by clicking on the web page, you can go to another web page of that particular website. Whenever you open a browser, the first web page which loads is called the home page. Although the homepage of a web browser has some default setting, it can be changed according to user's preference. Uh, there is basically default setting of any homepage of a website, but you can change accordingly if you want, uh, on your preferences. Another feature of web browser is the address URL bar. Yeah, you uniform resource locator, as I said you yes earlier. This is basically the address bar. By using address bar of any website, you can easily locate that website on the web browser, because without knowing the URL address, how it will not be possible to access that website. The URL of the website that has to be accessed is entered here, right? Through this bar, you can access different websites or search anything on the browser. Navigation button. Yeah. On the home page, there will be a navigation bar on which there will be navigation buttons, which will uh, enable enable user to move in the forward as well as in the backward directions. And using the forward and backward previous buttons, user can revisit previously opened web pages. These buttons provide convenience to retrieve data previously accessed. Yeah, navigation buttons are the buttons which have been placed on the navigation bar, and these are, you can see on the navigation, these buttons are like this is for previous and this is for next. So by using these buttons, you can move to the in both the direction, forward as well as in the backward direction. So features of the web browser is the first one is the home page, and another one is the address bar, third one is the navigation bar. Now move to the next feature, history. So web browser is basically able to store all the data regarding what the user has searched out, and how many times data has been searched out. If you visited a website and want to revisit it after a few days and forgotten the address of website, then don't worry, as every browser keep the history where it collects all previously visited data. This is a very handy tool to revisit website. History is the feature by which user can access any website without knowing, without remembering the URL address of that particular website again and again. So by just going to the history, and you can click there, link that has been already saved because you have visited that site already. Now come to the next point, bookmark. This feature helps in quickly accessing websites. You can see here that sometimes you have to add your favorite websites which you want to access on the daily basis. Suppose I am going in, I work in any company, so you can see here that my Gmail account is already bookmarked, which means that it has been already added to the um, uh, my favorite list, because you have to access it on the daily basis. If you come across some important web page, you can always bookmark it for easy access in future. So bookmark is basically to include the favorite things which you want to add. Refresh button. Yeah, on the web browser you can see there that there is a refresh button that is represented like this, right? Refresh button is basically used to reload the page, and some whenever you are going to open any website, and you can see here that uh, loading is taking too much time, right? So by using refresh button, you can refresh that page and you can reload that page, and it shows updates if any. So refresh button is basically used to reload the page as well as to show updates. Home button. Yeah. So you can see home button is like this. Home button is like this. On every web browser, there is a home page on home page, and there will be home button on the home page. It brings the user to home page. By using home button, you can go to the home page, which can be set by the user. Next one is the tabbed browsing. Using this feature, a user can open multiple web pages in the same web browser so that they can quickly switch between them. Yeah, by using web browser, you can access multiple web pages at the same time of the same website, right? So this feature is known as the tabbed browsing. Extensions. Extensions or plugins can be installed by the user. These extensions helps in improving functionality of the web browsers. So in order to improve the functionality of the web browser, you can use your uh, user defined extensions. Now moving to the, yeah, you can see here that what are the features of the web browser. First one is the home page. That is the first page of any website. Then address bar. Yeah, by using address or URL of any particular website, you can search it on the web browser. Then extensions. It provides basically the advanced level functionality to the web browser. Navigation buttons. On the navigation bar, there will be navigation buttons, and by using that navigation buttons, you can visit to previous website as well, web page, sorry, and as well as to the next web page of any particular website. Refresh button is basically used to reload any page as well as to display any updates which are coming on the web browser. History is the main feature because it store the data regarding what you have searched by using web browser, right? All the address, all the links have been stored in the history, so you don't have to worry about the URL of any particular website if you have forgotten about that. Bookmark means that you can add any favorite thing in bookmark option. Another is the tabbed browsing, which means that a user can access multiple web pages of a particular website. So this is the feature that is known as the tabbed browsing. So we have discussed all these things. Now we are going to discuss about HTML introduction. So before going to discuss each and everything about the HTML, first of all, we have to know the full form of HTML. That is Hypertext Markup Language. This is known as Hypertext Markup Language. Remember one thing that HTML is not a programming language. It's basically a hypertext markup language, which is basically used to create web pages. So by building so many web pages, you can create your own website, right? So it is used to design web pages using a markup language. So this language is basically used to create web pages. HTML is a combination of hypertext and markup language. Why you are saying it a hypertext? Because when you are going to create web pages, so on particular web page, you can give any link. By clicking on that link, you are unable to go to another web page. So hypertext, so that's why we are saying it hypertext, because we can use here hyperlinks, and this is the markup language. Hypertext defines the link between web pages. Yeah, so this is the basic difference between the HTML and any other programming language, because in this case you can um, navigate between different web pages by using links. A markup language is used to define the text document within the tag, which defines the structure of the web page. Yeah, you have to remember one thing, that HTML is totally based on the tags. So in case of HTML, there are so many tags which we will discuss later. This language is used to annotate, make notes for the computer, to annotate text so that a machine can understand it and manipulate text accordingly. Yeah, annotate means that you can change it, you can write it again and again so that a machine can understand it. Most markup languages, example HTML, are human readable language. It's very simple, and it's very easy to learn, and it's very common to for human, and they can read it easily. The language uses tags, so this language is totally based on tags to define what manipulation has to be done on the text, right? Now move to the next slide. Yeah, you can see here that what are the HTML versions released. And first of all, you have to know that HTML was created. Who has created HTML? So HTML was created by Tim Berners-Lee. He has created the HTML in 1991. So first version of HTML was created in 1991, and the first version was 1.0. The first ever version of HTML was 1.0, but first standard version was HTML 2.0, published in 1995. So you can see here that HTML1, HTML2, HTML3, HTML4, HTML4.0, and HTML5. So in HTML1 was came in 1993, HTML2 came in 1995 after the gap of 2 years, and after the gap of 2 years, 1997, HTML3 came. Now after 2 years of gap, HTML4 came. Then in 2012, HTML 4.01, and in 2014, HTML5 version came. And this is the latest version which we are going to use in our programming language, because in this version so many new things has been added, like multimedia. You can easily add multimedia files, like you can add audio clips, you can add video clips. So many things will be there which we will discuss later, right? So this is all about the history of the HTML. Yeah, HTML elements and tags. So as I said earlier that HTML is totally based on tags. HTML used predefined tags. Predefined, there are so many predefined tags as well as elements which tell the browser how to properly display the content. By using these tags as well as elements, we can display our content on the web page. Remember to include closing tags. Yeah, you have to keep in mind one thing, that when you are going to write any opening tag, you have to also write a closing tag for that tag. If you forget to write closing tag, then the output will not display on the web browser. So these are the things which you have to keep in mind while you are using HTML. Yeah. So HTML page structure, you have to know this page structure because if you have to if you want to write any programming language, in if you want to write any you want to create any website, you have to know the uh, HTML page structure. That is, it will create a static page for any website, right? These are the building block elements which are basically used in the HTML page structure. First one is the doc type. That will define the doc type, means document type, the type of the document. Doc type declaration, uh, which will tell you the type of document. Next one is the HTML. HTML tag is basically used. You can see here that doc type HTML. It tells the version of HTML, right? Which version you are going to use for HTML, and doc type is the document type. And HTML is opening here, and here it's closing. So within the HTML tag, you have to write each and everything. So HTML is basically here HTML root element. So this is known as the root element. Within the HTML, you have to take two things. First one is the head tag, and second one is the body tag. Within head tag, you have to write the title of the web page, that is page title. Suppose you are going to write here. So by giving head, and within the head there will be title, page title. Suppose you are going to write here. So this will be this title will be displayed on the web page on the website, and on the top of the website. But if you are going to add content in the within the title is basically used to define the heading of the web page on the top. But if you want to add the content in within the web page, on that web page you can add uh, body. Basically body tag is basically used, it hold content of html. All the content will be contained within the html. And h2 is basically a within the body you can add any content can be in the form of heading, subheadings. Basically you can say that subheadings, it can be either in the form of paragraph, or if you want to add any audio clip, you have to add any link. For that purpose we are going to add anchor tag, right? So h2 is basically heading content. In case of html, heading basically lie between h1 to, sorry, h6, h1 to h6. Depends upon your requirement, you can use any from h1 to h6, because basically h1 is used to take content in the larger form. Then for smallest size you can use h2, then for more smaller you can use h3, and up to so on. So h6 is basically for the smallest heading, right? So h2 is basically is the heading, so it can contain the heading content. P stands for basically paragraph, so it will contain the paragraph content. So uh, this is all about the html page structure. And here html opening bracket, and here opening a closing tag, and within the html there will be head and there will be body. Head will contain the title, and for title there is opening and there is also closing tag. And similarly for heading there will be opening and closing tag, and there will be for paragraph writing opening as well as closing tag. So you have seen all the things theoretically as well as the structure of all these things. This is nothing else. It basically defining all the contents which we have discussed earlier. Yeah, you can see here that doc type HTML. This is the document type declaration. Yeah, it will define you the type of the document. No technically a tag. This is not a technical tag. It declares a document as being an HTML document. It defines you that this document is basically a HTML document. It's not case sensitive. So you can write in any form, either um, uh, capital letter or a smaller letter. Now move to the next point, HTML. This is basically the root element. This is called HTML root element. All other elements are contained within it. Within the HTML opening and closing tag, you have to place each and everything, as I said earlier. Next is the head. The head tag contains the behind the scenes elements for a web page. This is basically used to contain the title for the web page. Within the head, you can define your title. Style style basically style is used in case of css. Style tag is basically used to give style to the elements which we are going to use within the body. And to give design to that elements we are going to use style tag. This html tag is always will be defined within and within only head part. Remember this thing, while we are going to use css, for that purpose we will use style tag, and style tag will always be used within the head part, right? It allows us to insert styling into our web pages and make them appealing to look at with the use of css. Yeah, title, it is displayed on the top of your web browser when you visit a website. Base, it specifies the base URL for all relative URL in a document. No script and script, these are the two things. It defines a section of HTML that is inserted when the scripting has been turned off in the user's web browser. So if you don't want to add any script, so you can use their no script, and if you want to add some script, you can use script tag. No script tag and script tag are the tags which are basically used in case of JavaScript language, right? Yeah. So this is the script tag. This tag is used to add functionality in the website with the use of JavaScript. As I said earlier that no script and script are the tags which are used in the JavaScript. So JavaScript is a front end development language which is basically used to give functionality to the website. Means that if you are going to add any button on your web page to make it functional, you have to write JavaScript code, and JavaScript code always will be written within the script tag. There will be script opening tag, and as well as there will be script closing tag. Meta, yeah, meta is the tag which contains data about data, which contains data about data, because when you are going to open any website, you can only see the uh, you can see only and only visible things which are visible to you, which are important to you. But what about the what about its history, what about its description, all things are hidden from the user. So these hidden part, detailed information description of all the data is contained in the meta part. So this tag encloses the metadata of the website, that must be loaded every time the website is visited. For example, the metadata char set. Char set means that character set. Turn allows the user to view your web page in the language of their choice. It's a self-closing tag. So in case of metadata, there is no need to write closing tag because it's a self-closing tag. Its opening and closing is done only by using meta, right? So meta tag is basically used to store data about data. You can say data and description about your website, which is hidden from the user. Now, link. Link is the tag which is used in order to navigate from one page to another web page. It is used to tie together HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It's a self-closing tag. It's also a self-closing tag as meta and a link. Both are the self-closing tag. Now come to the point body. The body tag is used to enclose all the visible content of a web page. The content which you are going to display on the web page, you have to write within the body part. In other words, the body content is what the web browser will show on the front end. So all the contents which we are going to write on the which we are going to write within the body will be displayed to the on the web browser page, right? Yeah. So we have discussed so many things in today's video. What about web browser? What are the functions of the web browser and the basics of the HTML? Why we need HTML? So in further videos, we will discuss each and everything about HTML by doing it practically as well as theoretically. So I'm going to wind up my video now. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. And if you like my videos and my content, so like and subscribe my videos. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.